Always Believe House. Oh, today we're going to have FUN, fun, because we're going to do the test review for your test 2.1. Oh, it's going to be a blast. Oh, we're writing linear equations, and we're reviewing the domain and range again today. So that's what we're going to do. So a magical whiteboard appears, and let's start rocking and rolling. So on the first three problems, we're going to turn 2 points into an mx plus b function. And remember, I told you to put these into the calculator, into a table, and it will run a regression and get those answers. Your paper that you got last week has all the steps. So the first thing you want to do, let me get ready here, is make a t-chart. So our first t-chart will be 4, -2, and 12, 4. That's what we're going to put into the table. So we're going to go to the calculator. Okay, now then we're going to type in home. And then we're going to type in 1 for new. And then we want to add a list or spreadsheet 4. Then at the very top, remember, you got to make these X, Y. So at the very top, you got to make column A X, column B Y. You can't hit the enter keys up there or it'll mess up. Now then we're going to put in the table. Okay, so in our table, I need 4 and 12. So I'm going to put 4 and 12 in here. Let me get to the calculator. So 4 and 12. Now then I need to go up and get my -2 and 4. So -2 and 4. Okay, so I have 4, -2, 12 and 4. Now I'm going to put that into the spreadsheet. So I'm going to run a linear regression. Menu, statistics is 4, stack calculations is 1, and then linear regression is mx plus b. Then x down, y down, enter, and bam, I got it. So the important thing is that slope is 0.75 and the y-intercept's -5. I need to turn the 0.75 into a fraction. Okay, so I'm going to put -5 in for my b. And now then I need to change the 0.75 to a decimal. So I'm at my calculator. I got 0.75. I'm going to hit Control C. And it doesn't look like anything happens. Then I'm going to hit home and A for, I'm going to hit the home button and then A to calculate. Once I'm here, I hit Control V and it pastes it. So Control C to copy, Control V to paste. Now then I'm going to turn that decimal into a fraction. Menu, number, approximate the fraction, menu 2, 2, and then hit enter. 3/4. So that's going to be my slope, 3/4. So my equation will be 3/4x minus 5. Let me make that fraction bar better. 3/4x minus 5. Let's go to the next problem. Make a t-chart, x and y. You got 6, -2, -12, -17. Put it in the calculator, run the linear regression, and get your M and B. Very tedious to do. So we're going to go to the calculator. Once I get the calculator, I'm going to need 6, -12 in. So home, 1. I'm not going to save anything. I'm going to add a spreadsheet. I'm going to put X and Y at the top. And then I need 6 and -12 in. That's for my X's. Then I'm going to go over here to my Y's. And now I need to put in my Y's, which are -2 and -17. So -2 and -17 are my Y's. So now I have my ordered pairs into the calculator. Menu 4, 1, 3. So menu, stack calculation, linear regression, and then X down, Y down, enter. So X down, Y down, enter, and bam, I got it. My slope is 0.8333. That's the constant rate of change. But my y-intercept's -7. So I'm going to go through and record that. So my y-intercept's -7. And now I'm going to go back to the calculator. I'm going to copy this. Control C to copy. And then hit home and A. And then I'm going to hit Control V to paste. And then I'm going to hit menu 2, 2, enter. I'm sorry, I need Control V again. I hit enter. Menu 2, enter. And the 0.8333 turns into 5, 6. So that's going to be my slope. So I'm going to go back to the equation. My slope is 5 over 6. My equation would be 5 over 6x minus 7. Ho, 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 ho. Keep repeating the process, x and y. Okay, so we're going to put our t-chart is -6 and -19 and 15 and 16. I need to put this into the calculator. So I'm going to go to the calculator, hit home, hit 1, hit no, and then 4. And then I need to type in my x and my y. And now that I'm going to go to get the t-chart. So -6 and 15 for x, -6 and 15 for x. Go up here and get my y's. And my y's are going to be -19 and 16. So -19 and 16 in for my y's. Then menu 413, x down, y down, enter. Menu 413, x down, y down, enter. And bam, I got it. Okay, I'm going to go down to my slope. I need to change that to a decimal, but my y-intercept's -9. So I'm going to write that down. So my y-intercept's -9. And now then I need to switch that decimal. So I'm going to hit Control C. And then I'm going to hit Home and A. And now then I'm going to hit Control V to paste. And then menu 2, enter. So menu 2, enter. And the 1.6666 turns into 5/3. Ho, 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 ho. So I'm going to go back to my paper. And I'm going to put 5/3 in. So I have 5 over 3x minus 9. Ho, 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 ho. Let's keep rocking and rolling. Okay, remember on these problems here, you want to plug into y equal mx plus b and solve for the b. This is my x, this is my y, this is my m. So I'm going to replace the y with 3. I'm going to replace the m with 3 over 4. And I'm going to replace that x with times 8 plus b. And when you put this into nsolve, this is what's going to be. So I'm going to find my b with nsolve. Okay? So I'm going to go to the calculator. I'm going to hit home. I'm going to hit calculate. And then I'm going to hit menu 3, 1. Now then I need to put my equation in. So I'm going to go to the paper and get the equation. 3 equals 3/4 times 8. So I can remember that. So 3 equals, control divide, 3 down 4. And then times 8 plus b, comma b. So this is what I need to type into nsolve. So it's 3 equals 3/4 8 plus b, comma b, hit enter, and the b is -3. My y-intercept will be -3. So I'm going to put that down. So this is my slope, this is my y-intercept. That's all I need. So I'm going to write down my slope is y. I don't need this blank here. Y equals 3 over 4. Oh wait, we're doing point slope. So this is much simpler. We're doing point slope. Sorry about this. I'll still write this down though because we're going to need it in a minute. So if you wanted, let's just do the work we did. We're going to get y equals 3 over 4x minus, what was it, 3? 3/4 times 8 is 6. Yeah, minus 3. Okay, now then, let's put this into point slope. This is my x, this is my y, this is my m. So remember in point slope, and we don't have the point slope form. Is it up here? In the point slope form, there's minuses in front of the x and the y. So let's write this equation down again. We're going to substitute into y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. On these right here, the x and the y are going to flip signs. So my y is 3. The opposite of that is minus 3. The slope's 3/4. And the x is minus 8. So all we're doing is writing these into point slope, which is much, much simpler than what we just did. Let's go to the next one. So all we're going to do is put this into point slope. This is y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. So this is my x, my y, my m, and I'm just going to plug them in. The y is right here. The opposite of y is a minus 3. My slope is negative 2. The opposite of negative 2 is a plus 2. That's all I got to do. So the x and the y go in and the signs flip. Let's go to the next one. Y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. Okay, this is my x, this is my y, this is my m. The y is right here. The opposite of negative 4 is a positive 4. I'm flipping the signs because of that minus. The slope's negative 1/2. It does not flip because there's no minus in front of it. The opposite of my x, the opposite of negative 3 is a positive 3. That's all you have to do on those problems. So there's one problem on the test where I give you a point and a slope. Just plug it into point slope. The equation will be there. Let's go to here. These are continuous functions because they are connected by a straight line. An easy way to do this is to draw a box. Okay, so we're going to draw a box that contains this line. So everyone see the box. This is the left edge of the box. Let me put it over here. Let's put an L for left, an R for right, a B for bottom, and a T for top. So the left edge of the box is going to hit the x-axis right here, and I'm going to write down negative 4. The right edge of the box is right here, and I'm going to write down 1. Those are the two numbers that go in the domain. So the domain goes from negative 3 to 1, and remember, to do this, you put less than or equal signs unless there's an open dot. So my x's are going to be larger than negative 4, but they're going to be smaller than 1. So they're greater than negative 4, but less than 1. Now then, let's get the range. The range is going to go from the top to the bottom. So the bottom is right here, negative 3. The top is 2. My range goes from here to here. So my range goes from the bottom of negative 3 to the top of 2. Both ends are dotted with a closed dot. I'm going to use less than or equals. That is the range. It has to be more than negative 3, but less than 2. Let's go to the next one. On the next one, there's an open dot. So let's draw our box. So our box is going to look like this. We're going to have the left, the right, the bottom, and the top. Now then notice, on this one right here, we're going to have to extend up. This is the left edge, which is negative 3. This is the right edge, which is going to be 3. My domain will go from negative 3 to positive 3. So the domain goes from negative 3 to positive 3. We put a less than symbol, but this is an open dot, so it does not get the equal bar. The left side does. It's closed. So this would be a closed dot. This would be an open dot, wouldn't it? Now then, let's do the range. The range is right here with a closed dot of negative 4, but right here it's open and it's positive 2. So from the bottom to the top, it's going to go from negative 4 to 2. It's going to be less than or equal to 4, but it's also going to be less than 2. And remember, your f of x could also be for a y. A y and the f of x mean the same thing. Go to the next one. If you were to draw a box again, you would get this. Basically, our domain goes from here to here, from 0 to 12. That's your domain. The range goes from here to here, which would be 0 to 16. So the domain starts at 0, it goes to 12, and you put less than or equals. The range starts at 0, you got to start at the bottom, and goes up to 16, you use less than or equals. So piece of cake, you're going from the left to the right. On a graph that looks like this, you're going from 0 to the x-intercept and 0 to the y-intercept. The y-intercept is the initial amount of ounces on this problem. At 12 minutes, you would run out of whatever you got, whatever ounces there are. You would have 0 ounces. Let's keep going. What's the domain and range of the discrete functions? A discrete function, the dots are not connected. You've got to be able to graph order pairs. So let's make a t-chart of these order pairs, x and y. This order pair would be left 4 and up 3. So negative 4, comma 3. To get to this order pair from the origin, I would go left 2, up 1, negative 2, 1. To get to this order pair, I would go right 1, up 4. To get to this ordered pair, I would go right 3 and down 1. And to get to this ordered pair, I would go over 4 and up 2. Notice this would be a function because the x's do not repeat. And since I went from left to right, my domain is in order. So my domain is -4, -2, 1, 3, and 4. This right here would be my domain. My range would be right here. My range, remember, we got to put these in order. -1 is the smallest, then 1 is the next, then 2, then 3, then 4. If they repeat, you don't use them only but once. Let's go to the next problem. The arrows start over here. This is my x, this is my y, this is my domain, this is my range. So my domain is the numbers in this box, which is -5, 0, 2, and then 6 is smaller than 8. You want to put these from small to big. My range is over here on the right. The smallest number is -8, then -1, then 3, and 4. So you always put your domain and range in order from smallest to largest. And if it's to discrete, you put them in braces and you list the values. Your domain and range are the values of the x's and y's. Okay, let's go to right here. Bubba Bob has $20. He wants to earn more money to go to the fair. He mows 4 more yards for $8 a yard. If the amount of money is a function of the amount of money is y is a function of the number of yards x, what is the domain and range? Let's make a t-chart. So x and y. X is going to be the yards, and y is going to be his money. So at 0 yards, he has $20. After mowing 1 yard, he gets $8. He's going to have $28 in him. See how I'm doing this? And he's going to mow 4 yards. Every time he mows a yard, we're going to add $8 to this. So all I'm doing is adding 8. This is my domain. This is my range. So my domain is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. My range would be 20, 28, 36, 44, and 52. Ho, 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 ho. F-U-N, fun, fun, fun. This also would be a discrete function, wouldn't it? He would never have $21.50. He's going to go from 20 to 28 to 36, right? Let's go. Turn the page. So if you turn the page, we're right here. Okay, what we want to do is turn this verbal description into a graph. That's one of your teaks. And it's a lot easier if you do this. So if you read the problem, I'm not going to read it word for word, but he has a layer of ice. This right here would be our starting amount. And then the ice starts to melt. This right here would be the growing amount. Since it's melting, it's decreasing. So our function would be -0.8x plus 5.6. That would be the function rule. Let's go to the next one. Oh, this one right here, we're going to put this into a table, aren't we? We're going to put it into a table and get the constant rate of change. I'm going to do it by hand because my battery's running low, so I'm just going to do it by hand. Technically, you would put this straight into the calculator. But right here, let's see, the price of the milk is a function of, this is going to be my x, this is going to be my y, so the cost of the chicken strips, and I'm going to do these two right here. So this is a difference of 4, which is my delta x, and 850 minus 1950 is 11. So I have 11 over 4 is my slope, which is 2.75. So the 2.75 means it's 2.75, which is what you should get when you do the table, $2.75 per chicken strip. So if you were to write a linear regression, put that in the table and get your M, it should be 2.75. We're going to go over here, we're going to get the rate of change, and we're going to graph these. One way you could do this is to put them in a table. So let's make x and y, and then this ordered pair would be -3, -1. This ordered pair would be 3, 3. If you put that into a spreadsheet and get the M and B, bam, you got your slope and you got your y-intercept. It's important you can do this by hand though. So look right here, my y-intercept is 1. To get my slope, I'm going to go up and over. Remember, you make a right triangle, you always go up or down first. I went up 1, 2, 3, 4, and I went over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These two numbers turn into my slope. 4 over 6 is my slope. So my rate of change is 4 over 6, which would simplify to 2/3. So 2/3, and my y-intercept is 1. So my equation is 2 over 3x plus 1. If you were to punch 4 divided by 6 on your calculator, it would simplify it to 2/3. You've got to be able to look at that graph by hand and do this. Let's go to the next one. Remember, if it's too tough to do it, just make a t-chart. This ordered pair would be -1, 3. This ordered pair would be 2, 3. If I put that in at the table, do linear regression, I'll get my M and my B. I'm going to do it by hand. So right here's my y-intercept. It's 1. So the y-intercept's 1. This is going to be a plus 1. And now then my rate of change. I have to go down and I have to go over. I went down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I went over 1, 2, 3. 6, -6 over 3 would simplify to -2. So my slope is going to be -2. Notice if I go down 2 over 1, I'm always getting back on the line, aren't I? Down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1. So this is going to be -2x plus 1. Ho, 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 ho. Let's keep going. We're almost done here. Okay, we have two graphs showing how much coke Emma Sue has. This is huge right here. You got to know how to do this. This is my y-intercept. This is my x-intercept. So the x-intercept on this graph is 10. And the x-intercept represents at 10 minutes, she runs out of coke. Or she drinks all of her coke, right? Because that's the ounces of coke, right? The y-intercept is 18. The initial amount of coke is 18 ounces. That's what it's going to say on the test. It's also your starting amount, right? Instead of starting, they use the initial amount of coke in ounces, right? Let's go to the next one. Same thing. The x-intercept on this one, though, is 8, right? So it represents 8 minutes. She runs out of coke. Or it takes 8 minutes to drink all the coke, right? She runs out of coke. The y-intercept is right here. It's 24. That's how much coke she starts with. The initial amount of coke, that's what's going to say on star, or it's the starting amount of coke. The initial amount of coke is 24 ounces. So she has 24 ounces of soda pop, okay? I hope you have enjoyed this. Watch this video again. It will help you on your test, I promise. Go through, watch the video. Make sure you know how to do a table. Convert the table to mx plus b. Make sure you can get the slope decimal to a fraction. Control-C to copy, Control-V to paste. You're going to do wonderful on your test because you believe. Remember, you are amazing, you are created to do wonderful things, and you are awesome.